Good evening, everyone, and thank y'all for tuning in to another uh, podcast episode. Today, we have a special guest with me today, Miss Monica Dennis Griffin.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good, and I'm glad you stopped by. I'm glad you stopped by.
I
So
appreciate
many I put out the invitation and so many people were tagging your name. So I said, man, I really wanna talk to this young. And you reached out to me, so I was like,
did.
yes, yes. So while we work our way into it, why don't you just give me a little background about yourself? So, you're from Texarkana, right?
I am. I have been in Texarkana since I was 5 years old. Um, Graduated from Texas High, but I've lived here the majority of my life. Moved away a couple of times, Dallas, Houston, California for about a year. But I always wound up back here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's basically it.
Okay. You have any children?
I do. I have 4 kids. They are grown now. Thank you, Jesus. I have a 33-year-old son. His name is Eric Griffin. Wesley Griffin, 31. Justin Castile is 19, and I have one daughter, Cameron, and she is 22.
Cameron, 22.
Yep, little
Wow.
girl.
So what do you what do you do? Like what is your occupation?
I work for Wholesale Electric Supply. I
Okay.
do payroll for the whole company. We've got 84 branches in like 6 different states, but I do payroll for the company and I help with HR as well.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, it's quite a few employees to deal with, but I like it. It keeps me busy, that's for sure, and on my toes.
I forgot to mute my thing. Oh, okay. That's good. So, one of the main reasons that I put out this invitation and for this specific podcast was a cancer survivor. Now, you're a cancer survivor, right?
I am. Twice.
Okay. Twice.
Yeah.
So, see, I want to get into that real quick. Let me adjust this microphone so they can hear you.
Okay.
I want them to hear this because I need, yeah. You have a soft-spoken voice.
Oh, okay. Well, let me raise my voice then.
Yeah. I don't want them to say, man, I can't hear.
Okay.
All right. So, getting into that, what was the moment? I mean, so how did it come about? How did you realize, like, that you had breast cancer and I mean, and all of that? Like, how did it,
From
walk
the very
me through
beginning.
it? Yeah.
So, I went to my regular doctor just for a checkup. When women get of a certain age, they want you to go and get mammograms. Well, I had put it off and put it off and put it off. I couldn't tell you how many times. And so they're like, yeah, it's time for you to go get your mammogram done. So I did. And the first time I went in, well, I had gone in before and they had found a little spot that I think they said it was calcium deposit of some sort. And they just had to extract it was like a liquid kind of whatever. So the second time that I went back, there was an area there that they found that was kind of concerning, and they did ultrasound, and they're like, okay, yeah, it still looks a little concerning, so they scheduled me to come back to do a needle biopsy. And when I got the results back, I think I feel like it was a Friday because over the weekend I was just thinking, oh my God,
Yeah.
why can't you give me the results like now?
Right.
So when I did go back to have them read the results, they sent the results to my regular doctor, and of course he came in and told me that it was cancer. And so I'm thinking to myself, the area that they pointed out to me, or where they put the marker, I remember at the time it was my son's dad, and he felt the area and said there's something there, and I was like, yeah, no, it's nothing.
Yeah, see, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, did you feel pain or anything?
There was no pain, but there was the lump. And now that I know, things to look for, and I tell a lot of other ladies too, I would come home from work, and I know this may be too, TMI, but I'd come home from work, and as soon as I got out of my clothes, I wanted to take my bra off because it was like itchy. It was very itchy. And, but it wasn't painful. There have been some ladies that have said that there's sometimes discharge.
Yeah.
I didn't have any issues with that, but there was something there, and I'm not even going to lie to you too. I did not do breast exams, and I do now. Well, there's no reason for it now, but I still check because, well, I'll tell you a little later. Even if after implants you can still get a lump, because that's what happened with the second one. But it was just, the lump was there, and when he told me that it was cancer, and then when I finally did go to an oncologist and they did some scans, come to find out I was at stage 3. They said 3.5. I don't know what the 0.5 is, but I was at a stage 3, and probably if I had not ignored that, it wouldn't have been, as far gone or as bad.
So, can you break, like stages? So, what is it a certain like type of category? Like, so if it's at a stage 1 or 2, is it like bigger or something, or what does it actually mean?
Actually, well, with mine, and I can only tell you about a 2 or a 3. With stage 3, that means that it has gone. A stage 1 is the earliest stage to catch it at. Mine had gone to where it had spread from my ductal cells into my lymph nodes. And once it gets into your lymph nodes, then it's free to roam about in your body. So they were pretty aggressive initially with my treatment. I had to do needle chemo, or whatever you want to call it, intravenous chemo, and I had, they were hitting it pretty hard there in the beginning with that Red Devil. I don't know if you've ever heard about that. It's the strongest chemo that, as far as what I've been told, that's out there. So I guess they wanted to knock it out as quickly as possible so that it didn't spread any further.
So it's a liquid form,
And all of the chemo is, but this particular one, it literally is red. And they would start my port, but I skipped a part. I got the port, and they would access my port, and then they would come and inject. It was a syringe about this long and that round, and they would just put it in the IV. But going in that first couple of times, it was, oh God, it burned so bad. And it was mostly because they just had it going in too fast. The ones after that, they would give me Xanax and some other things in there too, because of course chemo is literally poison. It's trying to kill and target all of the cancerous cells, but it's killing everything that's in your body, which is why the hair comes out literally, they told me my hair was going to come out in 2 weeks to the date. It started coming out.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a very powerful drug, no matter what type of chemo that you're getting. Um, but yeah, it's
So chemo, it basically just destroys everything.
everything. But
Dang.
when I
So
say everything, you're still alive.
yeah,
But the things
the
that are
cells, the
growing,
living
they're
things.
it's shutting everything down. Which is why they tell you make sure that you there's I call it, it was so big, it was like a pager. I would put it They would put it on my side, and so that I didn't have to go all the way back to Dallas, because I did my chemo in Dallas,
Yeah.
so that didn't have to go back the day after. There was an injection that some ladies, if you're in the same city, you have to go and get a shot, and it's a boost to boost your white blood cells, which keeps any infection or anything from spreading in your body. So they give you that injection, and they tell you to eat healthy, of course, eat, period, which is so hard to do because some people get really sick.
It's hard to eat.
Well, because a lot of people get nauseated. I only got sick, I only had 3 really bad nights to where I was in pain and to where I was just really sick to my stomach. Um, But other than that, I really didn't have a hard time. And I've heard so many people say that was not the case. My father got it pretty bad when he was going through his chemo, because he had um, colon cancer. But I really, thank God, it wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. But I did. I'm talking to the T. Every single thing that my doctor told me to do, I did. They would tell me to take, gosh, it was an over-the-counter drug, and it's for cold and flu, which is really weird, but it kept me from aching as much. I guess it's because it makes you feel like the way that you ache when you have the flu. So
Wow.
it kept me from feeling really bad a lot of evenings. But
So you talked about your dad. So,
mhm,
you have a family history of things.
unfortunately, I do. My dad had colon cancer. That was not the reason he passed. He passed in
Yeah.
2015, but uh, he had colon cancer. My sister has had breast cancer.
Dang.
Um, I have, I want to say cousins and aunties, and they're all on my dad's side. There's at least 10 of them. And I went ahead and did the genetic testing. It's because I got breast cancer. I was diagnosed after my sister, and we don't even have the same gene mutation. Mine is called PALB2, and I can't remember what hers wound up being. But it does, now that I know that, there's a letter that they gave me so that I can give it to my nieces or any other females in our family so that they can get mammograms early, and they don't have to wait until they're 40, 42, or I can't remember how old it is. I want to say it's 40. But when you have that particular gene, it can also show up as pancreatic cancer, ovarian cancer, and trying to think, with men, I want to say it is prostate.
Dang.
So I'm very vigilant with my kids, and especially with my daughter. Um, she will be of age in about a year or two, and definitely want her to stay on top of her health.
Yeah. So you was talking about the chemo, and so is chemo and radiation different?
They are. The first time that I was diagnosed, I did straight chemo. a lot of people will do chemo. The doctors will have you do chemo and radiation. That particular time I did, it was just straight chemo. The second time that I was diagnosed in 2022, it was only, as I say only, it was at a stage 2. Same breast, same side, almost in the same area. And it's really strange because I did a double mastectomy the first time around, and after everything was done, they did the reconstructive surgery, and I did implants. Well,
Yeah.
a lot of people think, well, after you do implants, you shouldn't have, cancer shouldn't come back. It did. But to answer your question about the radiation, the second time around, I did radiation therapy, and they had me do the chemo pill. The chemo pill is it's not almost as bad, but you definitely have a lot of the side effects.
Okay, so the chemo pill, because you talked about earlier how chemo just kind of destroys everything, like in the little cell, the cells and living things. So what? So like, it's a pill. The chemo pill is actually a pill you take.
It's a
so
little
how
pill.
is it
It's
not
huge.
harmful, like to you?
It is. It is. It's just as harmful as the chemo, the liquid chemo.
Does it designed to target something?
I'm sure they would like for it to,
Oh,
but
man.
that's
Ooh.
why it was kind of like, okay, here we go. I got to go through this again. But I didn't have to do the liquid chemo, but that pill, it took my appetite away a lot of days. I would feel nauseated. I would feel so tired. And that's in conjunction with radiation, because radiation wears you out. It zonks all of your energy as well. I don't know. I can't say that the chemo, like regular chemo, is harder than the other. I think that they were both.
The way you're explaining this, it's almost like it's killing you while trying to help you at the same time.
Yep. It's like, I don't want to say a lose-lose situation, but on the one hand, it's like, okay, thank God I'm still alive. I can, take care of my kids and all that good stuff. But you feel pretty awful the majority of the days.
Yeah.
Now, I would take that first time around, I would do my chemotherapy. I'd go to Dallas to do my chemotherapy on Friday. I would stay at my brother's house in Frisco over the weekend, and then I'd come back that Monday, and then I would go back to work Tuesday through, I worked all the way through both times, but a lot of people can't do that. I mean, I just knew I didn't have a choice because I'm a single parent. It's like, what do you do? But the second time around, I had, thank goodness, I was working at a company. And the first time around, too, my job was, very lenient and helpful and supportive. But it takes everything out of you.
Wow.
Yep, it is. It's not... for people who are... And this is not just for... the person that's going through it, but for family members and anybody else that is there and trying to be of support, do everything you can and be patient with them. Because, baby, when I tell you, there are a lot of times that I literally I did cry. I did. I mean, and it wasn't just because I felt like I was helpless. It was just because you don't have any control and you can't do anything about it besides pray. And of course, I definitely did that. But it's scary. It's very scary.
Dang. So when it comes to the chemo and all of that, what does the radiation do? Is it different from chemo? What is the purpose of the radiation?
The radiation is more targeted. And you ask about that pill.
Yeah.
It's just going into your body just like the liquid chemo, but it's more targeted.
Kind of do The chemo does too.
It can. Normally, well, with all people that are doing radiation, you go in and they do these markers, and they call them radiation tattoos. It hurt like hell to me. Sorry, I don't know if
Yeah,
it was
no,
okay
no,
to
you
say
good.
that.
No, you good.
But they marked me on each side of my body, and then right in the middle, and that was basically where the lasers were going to line up. So I had to go for radiation treatments every day. I would drive to Longview, and then I would leave work at like noon, drive to Longview, and then I would come home and then, go back the next day. But I would go down there, and my actual treatment only took maybe 15 minutes. But they line up these lasers, and they make this little concoction that literally just targets the area where the tumor is. And what they're trying to do is the same thing that the IV chemo does. They're just trying to kill the cells before removing it. Some doctors just decide that they want to go in and try to remove the tumor first. That's what I think my sister's doctor did. But with mine, they tried to shrink the tumors, and then I had the surgery later to remove what was left. And yeah, it's a whole thing. But yeah, you lay on this table and they just target that area. And at the end of mine, they called it a proton boost, but it can help reduce the scars too.
So now you said it. You said it came back in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Almost
was something.
in the same spot, almost.
So that was something that you told me that I want to go back in 2018, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I went back. Well, I said I was going to go back in the conversation because a lot of people feel like, okay, because I did the breast implants and all of that. And when you do the, there's expanders, okay. When you have the mastectomy, I did both sides because I'm thinking, I don't want to deal with all this, and then I have to come back in this other side. I get cancer on the other side. So I did double mastectomy. They remove the breast tissue, and then they put these expanders in, and the expanders are like deflated balloons. So you put them in, and every 2 weeks I'd go back to my surgeon, my plastic surgeon, and they would inject a certain amount of cc's of saline, and it basically stretches the tissue. And so you have to wear those expanders for a certain amount of time until everything has healed, the scars, and then they go back in through those scars and put the implants in. Well, I'm thinking, okay, I have implants, so I'm good to go. They already removed all the breast tissue. No. What they do is they leave a very thin layer of breast tissue underneath your skin, because otherwise it'd be like skin on top of an implant.
Right.
And that's where the cancer came back, right in that very thin layer on the exact same side, right in the areola area. Mm-hmm.
You said something earlier. We were talking when we were setting up. You said a lot of people don't really like to talk about it. In your opinion, why do you think that is? And the reason why I said this is because I know as people, sometimes like we want everybody to feel like we're
Everything's okay. Yep.
You see, and in reality, a lot of people are suffering.
Man.
Yeah.
In a lot of different ways, and it might not even be a sickness. It might just be like, mentally.
Mentally, yes.
And that takes a toll on your mental health as well when you're going through cancer. But
did they take a toll on you as well?
It did.
So
it
did. I wanna just ask you something. How did you feel like? Did you ever feel like at a moment that like you wouldn't make it or something like that?
I really didn't. And I know it sounds like it's easy for me to say
Right.
that. But now that first day, I'm not gonna lie to you that that first
When they first
diagnosis,
say
that
it,
first
it's scary.
it
Like
did, and I
what?
sat there. He said, take your time, stay in this office, and I sat in there, and I cried. I did, and then I went and I told some of my family members. I didn't tell my kids right away, which I will never. I said that I will never do that. Hopefully, I don't go through it again.
Yeah.
But that second time around, I told them right away because
Yeah.
they were very angry that I didn't tell them at first. But I did. I cried, and after I got over that, I think I gave myself a couple of days. I started looking for doctors, and I started getting a game plan
You
in
know,
mind.
I'm so glad you said that. I've always said this throughout life. I look at people in different situations and I'll be like, you know what? Before, in my opinion, before people physically die, they die here first.
Man, and
You have to live here to live naturally.
that's right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's right. And a lot of people would say, "Oh, every time I see you, you're smiling." Yeah, and that's the way I'm going to be always because even though I might be down, I might have the weight of the world on my
Right.
shoulders, and a lot of times I did. I had to get to myself, read something positive, listen to positive music, whatever I needed to do, and even if I got to plaster a fake smile on my face
Right.
for a minute, after a while, it becomes natural.
Right.
It is contagious. People say that, oh, smiles are contagious. That's facts. That is the truth. And also, my faith, when I was going through all of that, it's not that I grew up in church, but my faith after all of this is on a whole different level. And I really, truly believe that me going through that was probably not even for me. That, because it definitely brought me and my kids closer. It brought me closer to my siblings. It was relationship wise.
Situations like that have helped me learn. Just examples of that has helped me learn throughout life when I grew up. Don't be so quick to judge. And the reason
Man.
why I said that is because you can say that you'll be one way until it
Until
actually
it
happens.
actually happens. Yep.
You could say that you could do this or you would do that until it actually happened. And you'll be like, dang, now that helped me
Yeah.
understand a lot with life, like about looking at situations and judging them before, because it's like, what would you have done? You think that, but when you in them shoes,
It's
you
not as
realize
simple as you think.
exactly.
It's not as easy as you think. Like, none of that. It is, it gave me more grace for other people
Right.
because, in my mind, my little world, I go to work, I got all these boxes checked, and all of a sudden, all those boxes were shot to hell.
Right.
I really didn't know if I was going to be able to work. And thank God I was able
Yeah.
to. But I didn't know if I was going to be able to take care of my kids. I didn't know if I was going to be able to put food on the table. And, for a minute there, I did. I lost my house. And then, that second time around, thank goodness we were in a better position. But you just never know. And you can sit up and, make fun of people in certain situations, and you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they had to go through to get where they are now. You just don't know. So
The one
show
thing
grace.
the one thing I caught with you immediately when I said that, you said, no. See, you started fighting mentally.
Yep.
And that's where our biggest battles are. And I believe that the way we fight mentally causes the body to react a certain way.
It absolutely does.
Wow.
And that's exactly what my doctors told me. the first thing they told me when I was diagnosed, when I went to the oncologist the first time, she's like, stay away from stress. Of course, that's so much easier said than done.
Exactly.
Okay, stay away from stress. But she did say, if you can get away, if you can do yoga, if you can meditate, whatever you need to do to keep yourself calm, rest is what helps us, our bodies heal. Rest and, of course, food and water. But rest, most definitely. A lot of people think that, they can power through and you keep working.
That's interesting that you said that, though, because that's absolutely true. Mm-hmm. The reason why I say that is because you could be physically sick or your head could be hurting or anything, mm-hmm. and you could go to sleep and it's like it went all away. So rest is truly,
It is. I'm trying to tell you.
Wow.
And stay hydrated.
Yeah, for sure.
Like literally. Yeah. But it is something else, that whole journey. Not, and I know there are a lot of men who deal with, I know that a lot of people think, men, breast cancer. Yeah, it happens. So whether it's a man, woman, whatever, you gotta take care of yourself mentally, because when I tell you, if your mind starts to go downhill, everything is going to follow. And same thing goes for your heart. Everything negative starts, either it's going to start in your mind, but eventually that's going to travel into your heart. And if you have the right heart posture, everything else is going to flow. Everything.
Yeah, because, right. You're absolutely right.
Yep.
I understand you said you had a stroke.
Mm-hmm. I had 2 strokes right after, I say right after. I had when I was diagnosed that first time, it was 2018. I had finished my chemo. Was it 18? Yeah. And 5 days later, I had a stroke. I woke up in the morning, like literally. We were outside that night before. We had that neighborhood whatever party thing in the neighborhood where we were living, and I had been outside with the kids. Everything was fine. I woke up at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and when I got up out of the bed to go around the bed to go into my bathroom, my whole body planked all the way to the left. No, it was to the right. And so I'm like, okay, maybe I got up too quick, because I also have hypertension, and sometimes I get a little dizzy if I move too quickly. And I'm like, what in the world was that? So I had to call my daughter to come into my room to help me to the bathroom. So I was like, that was weird. Went back to bed. They got up, went to school, because I think they were catching the bus. And when I finally got up, because I think I had gotten sick to my stomach, when I tried to sit up on the side of the bed, I couldn't stand. The blood clot was at the base of my skull, so it was affecting my balance and a couple of other things. So every time that I would move, it was making me dizzy. So I don't know if you know anybody who's ever had vertigo, but that's what it felt like. I was having a vertigo spell, so I would not only be dizzy, but I was throwing up. So my friend Niecy had to come over. She came over to the house. I remember, so I was so embarrassed, because I knew that I had to get to the hospital. She got in touch with my mom, and I knew we had to get to the hospital, but I had just gotten up from sleep. So it's like, I got to crawl to the bathroom. I crawled to the bathroom, and there was a bag beside my bed, and I just puked all the way. But I had to get some clothes on. They took me to the emergency room, and that's exactly what happened. Well, then they transported me to Dallas, and I didn't walk after that for a full month, because like I said, the placement of the blood clot that was there,
Yeah.
it affected so many things. So I was at this rehab hospital behind Wadley for
Yeah.
about a month, and then I started doing physical therapy once I got back home with my walker and my cane, and started doing physical therapy. My oncologist and plastic surgeon, they were all ready to um, do the mastectomy,
Yeah.
or was it the implants? That's what it was. So they scheduled all of my doctors, all three of my doctors, in the surgery room at the same time because they didn't want to take a chance on me having another stroke. Well, got into surgery, everything was fine. I was in recovery. I think the surgery was over at like 5 in the evening.
Right.
They were still trying to wake me up at like, I don't know, 2 in the morning. Come to find out I had another stroke while I was in recovery. And when I got back to the room that next day, that morning, my mom was trying to feed me. And I kept looking around. I'm like, man, I know these people, but I don't know their names. And my mom just kept asking my doctor, something is wrong with her. And they were asking me questions like, do you know where you are? I had no clue where I was. I didn't know my kids. I knew their first names. I didn't know their last names. I could not remember my social. I mean, it was bad. So I don't remember the placement of that blood clot. But I couldn't form complete sentences for quite a while.
Wow.
Yeah, it's called an aphasia, and so it's kind of like you. I could look at like a brush, and I knew what it was, but I couldn't remember the name.
Dang.
I knew what a girl standing there. I know that's a girl, but I couldn't remember the word girl. So
Wow.
yeah, it was interesting, to say the least. That made me more discouraged than breast cancer and that all the treatment, because I really didn't know if I was going to be able to talk again. And I have a little bit of a stutter now, but it was bad. And we talk about that mental thing. I shut down for almost a week. I decided that, okay, I'll go to this stupid, speech therapy, but I'm not going to talk to anybody. And I just stopped talking. Then I realized, you know what? This is not going to solve anything. And because I felt like I couldn't even pray, because when I tried to pray out loud, the words wouldn't come out. And I realized he's right here with me, whether the words are coming out my mouth or not.
Right.
And I had to pick myself up again and say, girl, get it together. You're still living, so there's purpose.
I heard you say something earlier about losing your house. So there were many losses that you took in the process of this.
Man,
right?
not just my health. I was trying, like you say, people, you have a smile on your face.
Yeah.
I was trying so hard. I was like, ooh, I get this paid, and, then I got this coming, and,
Right.
You had insurance stuff that was coming through, and it was okay for a minute, but there was a minute where it was just like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So, yeah, I did. I lost our home. I had to move in with my mom, me and my younger 2 kids, and literally started from scratch in 2000, the end of 18. And I said, okay. I told my kids, I said, I'm giving myself a year, and we're going to be back where we need to be. And I was. It was actually 10 and a half months. Yep.
Man.
And I felt like a failure. I kid you not, even though I knew that I was doing all I could. But it's like, I'm failing my kids. Like, what the heck, But I had to go through that too. God took me through a whole lot of
So when you
changes.
felt like a failure,
Hmm.
was it because you couldn't provide certain things?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So for um, men, women, whomever,
Yeah.
trying to provide for your household,
Yeah,
yeah,
for
that's
sure.
like it's embarrassing. And there were a couple of nights, not even a couple, a lot of nights that I just cried. I mean, my kids didn't see that, but
Yeah.
it's like, how are we going to make it? But yeah, I definitely felt like a failure because they're looking to me to
Yeah.
provide, and here I am. Not that I was just blowing crap off or
Right.
money off. It was just I was trying to do everything that I could,
Right.
but it just didn't work out. But
Hey,
obviously, that was not the time. It wasn't God's time.
right. What are some of the things that you did that helped you, like, get through this? I know you were saying something about educational videos and stuff like that. And what are some of the things you did?
Some of the things that I did as far as helping or making me feel better while I was going through all of it,
Right.
a lot of people don't want to talk about this, but it's just facts.
Yeah.
Um, Cannabis is the thing.
Yeah.
And I know that, that's the drug, it's illegal,
Yeah.
whatever. It works. I kid you not. I know that there were 2 nights that were really, really bad, and my son had, I think it's called a volcano. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like this little sack. Those were the best rested nights that I had. Is
Interesting.
when So there are other things besides over the counter or whatever your doctor might prescribe to you. I try my best not to use a lot of pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
And that's just because you take a certain drug and after a while it causes a problem.
Mess something else up.
Yep. So I try
That's
my
why
best to stay at the
yeah,
granary or this new health and wellness store. And yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
People are starting to tell me that, like, man, the granary store, like, there's one on New Boston Road, I believe. They're like, man, that's where you need to be at. And I'm like, man, even when you walk in, I went in there, even when you walk in, it smells fresh.
Yep. Yep.
Smells
All those
clean.
essential oils.
Yeah, all this stuff.
I use those in my house to this day. But that one on the granary on New Boston Road, and then there's a new one that's right in the parking lot where a lot of people don't realize it's there in front of Aldi, that little white building. It used to be a gift store.
Oh, yeah, that
Yeah.
big one right there.
They have refrigerated things in there now.
Oh,
You should check it out.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
Those types of things were helpful, but also I just decided when I was going through my journey that I wanted to share what I was going through, not just to be making videos, but I figured it'd be helpful for somebody else. There were a lot of times when I didn't know what to expect going into certain doctor's appointments, and the worst thing to do is to Google. Oh my gosh, because it had me terrified with a lot of procedures. But I just started telling. I'd go to my appointment and I would just start telling, hey, this is what happened. This is, a funny thing that happened, whether it was educational or not. And it just takes the edge off of the whole situation.
Yeah.
It really does. I also, at that time, Susan G. Komen was the breast cancer,
Yeah.
whatever, here in Texarkana. That's not the case anymore. Tough Cookie, when I tell you, they are so helpful. And they didn't really help me through that first time because they weren't in place. But the second time around, Katina Livingston is the founder of that foundation. And when I tell you, they They are on point. They will stay on the phone with you. They will show up. They help people with small things like gas cards to go for your appointments, and you name it.
I've
it's
seen
there.
the tough cookie signs in some people yards,
And the little Jeep now.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that Jeep, and I didn't know what that was. I thought
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like I read it, but I thought it was somebody selling cookies or something. Yeah,
That took the place of Susan G. Komen. And the
Yeah.
race actually is tomorrow
it's
at Texas A&M.
oh okay,
Yep, the breast cancer race
okay,
for 2025. But yeah, they are phenomenal. And when I tell you, it started off just her and her husband, and it has grown and grown. And I feel like her foundation, that foundation has been more helpful in Texarkana than Susan G. Komen ever was. When I was diagnosed, I was trying to call people, to see, like, help with doctors or financial stuff. It was a lot of red tape. But when you contact somebody at that Tough Cookie, they call same day, and they come through.
that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So wow, that's good. So, out of all this that you've been through and dealt with, why do you think you went through this?
I literally feel like a lot of people say, "Oh, you go through hard things
Yeah.
because that's the enemy." No, sometimes God brings you through to a pass because you either need to go through it, like I said earlier,
Yeah,
for somebody else, or it's strengthening.
right.
It helps strengthen you, and it definitely helped to strengthen me. I learned more patience because I had to be patient with myself, and then I had to be patient with my kids, and I had to be patient with everybody that was trying to help me. I learned a lot more patience, grace. He needed me to sit down.
Yeah.
No, he made me sit down.
Oh yeah.
And if I had to do it all again, and I know this is cliche to say, I would, because it brought me closer to God, and it brought me closer to my family, and especially my children.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So you're a survivor. So how long has it been now?
I was almost, when I was diagnosed that second time, I was almost at my 5th year, because when you get to your 5th year, that's like a major milestone.
Okay.
I was at 4 years and I think 8 months.
Okay.
So when I was diagnosed that second time, I had to start all over. So
Dang.
I'm back now. This is going on, I said, like 2.5 years, I want to say, cancer-free.
Good.
So, yeah.
All right.
I'm going to get there, though.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
As long as I'm still here, it's all good.
So what would be your message to those out there who may have dealt with the same thing or dealing with the same thing right now?
Pray. Draw near to your family, friends and family. Communicate with people. Reach out if you have questions. Ask. Don't feel bad about it. And just know that you're going to be okay. You're definitely going to be okay. But just pray and, communicate with everybody. Ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. There are no stupid questions, because I promise you I had 50,000 and I didn't mind putting them out there. So, and if you want to, reach out to me. I don't have a problem.
I thank you so much for coming and giving your story because, this was, when I first put this out, this was shocking because, man, a lot of people are starting to get that. And I was
Man,
like,
so
man,
many
all of
women.
these people have it.
Yes.
Like, man.
And a lot of people don't talk about it.
Right.
But I have had there are a lot of women that have inboxed me,
Right.
and but it's no, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Some people just are very private, and I get
Yeah.
that. I get that, but if you can help somebody, I'm all for that.
Right.
But yeah, there are a lot of women out here, not just in Texarkana, but just period. I didn't realize how many people. It's like there are at my job since I've been there since 2019. There have been 2 ladies diagnosed.
Dang.
Three ladies diagnosed with breast cancer. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's I don't know why it's so much more prevalent now. I don't know if it's how sometimes you get a new car and then you start seeing that car everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the way that it is with the sickness, but
Right.
yeah, it's very terrifying.
I appreciate you for even having, the courage to even just talk about your experience and
No
to
problem.
educate others and to try to help, because you really opened my eyes to it too, because I really never looked into it. But I tell you what, a lot of listening to stories like this, there are so many of us that are blessed that take it for granted.
Mm-hmm. Every day. And I'm pretty sure at some point in my life I was one of them.
Yeah.
That's why I said that was one of the things that I learned is like, no, do not take anything for granted. Don't take people for granted. I took for granted that I was going to be able to walk. And then all of a sudden it was all gone.
Wow.
Well, for a month.
Yeah.
But that month opened my eyes. It's like, yeah, sweetie, you
I said
not
this
all you
the
thought
other-
you were.
I said this the other day. I saw a guy out at the corner at the stoplight with a sign holding. He was walking and pacing back and forth, and I was saying, I told my friend, I said, it's some people. I said, he don't even realize how blessed he is. Like, some people would think, man, I'm hungry or I need food or this or that. Man, it's some people that just wish they could walk.
There you go.
It's some people that
Yep.
just wish they could get outside and walk on their own.
Yep.
And they walking holding the sign. It's some people that just want to walk.
Yep.
It's some people that just want to be able to see.
Yes. Yes.
Or
you speak.
It's people that can't speak, they can't see, they can't walk. And it's some people that don't get to see the light of the day because they're in prison or anything.
There you go. Yeah.
You see, so it's like there are so many things that we have to learn to be grateful for, because there are many people who don't have the same opportunities. And
Yeah.
I've learned that.
Yeah.
I said that the other day when I saw him. And I was like, he's blessed beyond he know, because
Man.
there's people that wish they could just physically do what he's doing. Just get out and walk.
Yeah. And you look at those people and it's like, yeah, they might not have a roof over their head,
Yeah.
but they're still thriving.
Right.
I mean, people who can't see, you know what? Everything else is strengthened. They can
Exactly.
hear better than me, probably.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, so I've looked at situations like that and said the same thing.
yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm so glad you reached out. I'm glad you came in.
I am too.
Hey, listen, if y'all look for her, you can find her, Monica Dennis Griffin, on Facebook.
Yeah.
If you have any questions about it, she's a survivor. She's had so many experiences, and she has a lot of questions. I mean, I'm pretty sure she can answer a lot of questions.
I can, and if I cannot, I can put you in touch with someone at the Tough Cookie Foundation who can help.
Right.
We have actually a survivors meeting or a support meeting once a month, and there's one coming up this weekend, this Sunday. It's each Sunday, the third Sunday of each month. But yeah, it's not always doom and gloom.
Right.
We have a lot of fun over there. We have a speaker each time, and it's very educational.
Right.
Everybody goes through it differently. So
Yes.
yeah. Hmm.
Well, again, I thank you so much for coming in.
You are absolutely welcome, and I appreciate the invitation.
Yes, oh yeah, and I really enjoyed this. So y'all, if you have any questions, please reach out to her. I have a tag. If you have any questions, please reach out to her. And I thank you
Please do.
again for coming.
No
And
problem.
hey, I'm glad you're a survivor. I'm glad you're
Thank
still
you. Yes,
here.
I am too.
All right. Well, we thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see y'all later. Thank you.